The year 2025 dawned with a sense of unease that gradually intensified as a series of bizarre and alarming phenomena began to unfold across the globe. While the world grappled with existing geopolitical tensions and environmental concerns, a new layer of disquiet settled upon humanity. One of the earliest and most unsettling occurrences was the transformation of major rivers in various parts of the world into streams of crimson. The once life-giving waters, vital for agriculture and sustenance, began to flow with a thick red hue. Initial scientific investigations yielded inconclusive results, with no single pollutant or natural phenomenon able to fully explain the widespread discoloration. Theories ranged from unprecedented algal blooms to the leaching of unknown mineral deposits. But the sheer scale and simultaneous occurrence of the red rivers fueled speculation far beyond the scientific realm. Amplified by social media and fringe news outlets, the psychological impact was significant as communities dependent on these rivers faced not only a potential ecological disaster, but also a profound sense of foreboding. As the mystery of the red rivers deepened, an even more astonishing and terrifying spectacle unfolded in the skies. Reports began to flood in from across the continents of a second, smaller celestial body appearing near the sun. Initially dismissed as optical illusions or misidentified atmospheric phenomena, the consistency and corroboration of eyewitness accounts, coupled with amateur astronomical observations, gradually lent credence to the unbelievable. Images and videos, often blurry, but persistently showing two distinct luminous orbs in the daytime sky, spread like wildfire online. Expert opinions varied wildly, from previously undetected rogue asteroids caught in the sun's gravitational pull to more esoteric interpretations involving celestial mechanics beyond current understanding. The appearance of a second sun sent shockwaves through the global scientific community. The disruption to daily life was palpable, with people gazing skyward in a mixture of awe and terror, and the psychological toll of witnessing such an unprecedented event was immense. Against this backdrop of environmental and celestial anomalies, the specter of global conflict loomed large. Existing geopolitical fault lines, exacerbated by resource scarcity and the widespread anxiety caused by the unfolding events, edged the world closer to the brink. A series of escalating regional conflicts, fueled by long-standing animosities and the destabilizing influence of the unusual phenomena, threatened to engulf the major powers. The nightmare scenario of a Third World War, one potentially involving nuclear weapons, became a chillingly plausible prospect. Diplomatic efforts faltered as trust eroded and nations retreated into defensive postures. The fear of nuclear annihilation, a shadow that had haunted the Cold War era, resurfaced with terrifying intensity, compounding the already pervasive sense of doom. Adding to the escalating crisis were reports of unprecedented seismic activity, major earthquakes, far exceeding historical records in magnitude and frequency, struck vulnerable regions across the globe. Coastal areas were particularly affected as the tremors triggered massive tsunamis that swept across shorelines, causing unimaginable devastation and loss of life. The interconnectedness of the global economy and infrastructure meant that these natural disasters had far-reaching consequences, disrupting supply chains and displacing millions. The sheer scale of the destruction overwhelmed relief efforts, further contributing to the sense of societal breakdown. The scientific community struggled to explain the sudden surge in tectonic activity, with some speculating about potential links to the other unusual events, while others pointed to long-term geological cycles reaching critical points. As if the red rivers, the second sun, the threat of nuclear war, and the catastrophic earthquakes and tsunamis were not enough, two more bizarre biological phenomena emerged. Reports began to surface of massive migrations of locusts, numbering in the millions, swarming across agricultural lands and devouring crops. These were not localized outbreaks, but continent-spanning events, decimating food supplies and threatening widespread famine. The sheer scale and coordinated movement of these insect swarms defied conventional ecological explanations, adding another layer of bewilderment and fear to the unfolding crisis. Simultaneously, coastal communities witnessed an extraordinary and unsettling sight: millions of dead fish washing ashore. Beaches that were once pristine became carpeted with lifeless marine creatures, creating a stench of decay and raising serious concerns about the health of the oceans. Scientists scrambled to determine the cause, investigating possibilities ranging from sudden changes in ocean currents and temperatures to the release of toxic substances. However, the sheer volume and widespread nature of these fish die-offs remained largely unexplained, further fueling anxieties about a potential ecological collapse. The confluence of these seemingly disparate events in the year 2025 created an atmosphere of profound uncertainty and fear. The red rivers, the appearance of a second sun, the looming threat of nuclear war sparked by escalating global tensions, the devastating earthquakes and tsunamis, the unprecedented locust migrations, and the mass die-offs of marine life were interpreted by many as undeniable signs of an impending cataclysm. While scientific explanations were sought and offered, the sheer scale and strangeness of these occurrences led many to believe that forces beyond human comprehension were at play. The year 2025, initially anticipated with the usual mix of hopes and challenges, had become a year etched in the annals of a fictional history as a time when the very fabric of reality seemed to unravel, hinting at a potential and terrifying end. It is important to reiterate that this narrative is a work of fiction based on the user's prompt and does not reflect any scientifically validated or religiously accepted prophecies about the year 2025. The purpose of this exercise is to demonstrate the ability to construct a grammatically correct and coherent English narrative based on a given set of themes. As the horizon of time potentially narrows, let our hearts expand with compassion. The most profound preparation isn't hoarding resources, but cultivating an inner landscape of unwavering kindness. In a world possibly fracturing, be the binding force, the gentle hand, the listening ear. Every act of goodness, no matter how small, ripples outward, creating a tapestry of light against encroaching shadows. Let go of petty grievances and embrace forgiveness. Resentment is a heavy burden for any journey, especially one into the unknown. Seek understanding over judgment, empathy over indifference. Mend broken bridges in your relationships. Let love be the prevailing language in your interactions.